Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're gonna start by reviewing NewJeans' latest comeback with their second mini album titled Get Up. I downloaded all of these songs, but I'm too lazy to look up the album's tracklist order, so this review might not be in the correct order as listed by the album, if that makes sense. You'll deal. But anyway, as NewJeans continues to shift their sound to hop on the recent trend of like two-step drum and bass and club genres, the Pink Panthers print just becomes more apparent as they somehow managed to make a 6-track album only lasts 12 minutes. For reference, their mother's debut album To Hell With It has 10 tracks with a runtime of 18 minutes. Another reference, their debut album has less songs but is still longer by like a couple of seconds. But that's crazy to me. Unfortunately, this approach ends up working against several songs on the album because they don't get the opportunity to fully develop sonically and reach their full potential. I don't feel as though the producers made an effort to curb this as well. However, as a listener, it just leaves me feeling underwhelmed. And we're gonna go through each track as usual, but like, I wanted more. And also, this comeback would have been better if it only featured NewJeans, Super Shy, and then one other track, I guess ETA, since that's what the girls really like. But like, the extra songs on this album it's just so forced to get that mini album out when it barely even counts as that. The way they promoted this one while keeping it in the vault until release day, you would have thought it would have been the smash. You would think this was their hyper ballad, or that one track that Rebel Loves just won't stop posting. I think it's by like Cassiopeia, something like that. You would think that this was gonna change the game, but unfortunately the most interesting parts of the songs were the snippets we heard for the past month. Literally one of the biggest letdowns in recent K-pop. Like, you should have seen my face when the song played. It was crazy. The song opens with the sound of a ticking clock before the addition of their typical airy type talk singing, coupled with synths and vocal samples that lead into one of the snippets we previously heard. I believe it was the second one. The track then continues into the first verse with minimal production, only using synths and that same vocal sample as it picks up in speed. With this, it would seemingly build into a more up-tempo track, similarly to Ditto, but instead does this fake out. Like, you hear like this little glittery synth come in, and then it just takes it all away from you and goes into the TikTok chorus we previously heard. The track then repeats all of these steps but begins adding more elements to the production, filling in that emptiness that terrorizes the first half of the song essentially. Still, something feels off about the song. There's definitely an element missing to it. I don't know. But on top of that, I just wouldn't revisit this track. It's very repetitive with no payoff, and I feel like a track like this is meant to highlight their vocals, but nobody's tuning into NewJeans for vocals. So it's just like, what am I listening for? The production? Like, no. Also, I will say on my first listen, the unfamiliar type of soundscape that he created reminded me so much of XX by Sumin, the EP. Like, I had to go back and listen to it just because I was like, this feels like something that would have been on there. Just one of the weaker tracks. When this song and Super Shy came out, I was team Super Shy. That hasn't changed, but I've become less biased towards it. Like, okay, it's a cute track y'all want. However, I will say that it is, I don't think lacking is the correct term, but for it to serve as like the main title for the Powerpuff Girls collab, like it got the Powerpuff Girls shit in the music video, it's just not really given Powerpuff Girls. I was expecting drum and bass or jungle because of its heavy association with cartoons and video games, like I talked about in my Pink Panthers video, and like something like Jet Set Radio or Sonic, or even the Powerpuff Girls theme song itself, which isn't that sampled in Super Shy as well. Like, at the same time though, whatever, it gets the job done. It's a good song. Like, the synths pair well with the two-step production and catchy rhythms. I couldn't ask for a better song, but I did really want drum and bass more than garage. Anyway, this company is very unserious for making the song this short. Not only do they want to be triple S so bad, but both groups at the end of the day are like biting from Victoria Monet, because I feel like this song and Cho Wall serve as interludes that'll have full versions released sometime in the near future. I don't know who gets it, like who else. Maybe they'll actually commit to it, unlike Victoria's line as, because I feel like Big Boss and we might be falling in love or whatever that shit is called, like, where's the full version? You're on Jaguar Part 2, but I'm not seeing the full versions of these songs listed in the track list. Her lying ass. Like, anyway, Get Up was an interesting surprise in the album. The alternative atmospheric R&B production reminds me of 2013 in the best way possible. Like, this definitely would have been on a Tinashe album, on a Janae Eco album, FKA Twigs probably. Like, actually, let me not give them too much, but it just feels like derivative of that sound that they built, you know? Which, when we really get into it, you could all see that that's really like Janet Jackson's influence on R&B music, but the Velvet Rope is another discussion for another time. I'm not gonna lie, I was so scared for this era once the ETA snippets hit the timeline after that fan meeting that they did, similarly to when aespa performed all of the songs at their Japan concert, and I wasn't hearing a lot of hits. And then, like, also I don't remember people even talking about ETA except like my mutuals on Instagram. Like, but if the Twitter girls aren't going up for it, that's how I know it's not really a hit in the streets. Like, I have my ear to the streets and nobody was saying nothing. It was quiet, bro. But yeah, I've never felt fear in my heart like that. The distorted horns throughout the song really prevent me from fully enjoying the song, from fully immersing myself into it. It gives me an anxious, uneasy feeling and makes me believe I have to be on alert at all times. Like, as soon as the horns come in, and like, it'll go away and it'll come back, like my heart literally drops, bro. The song is at its best whenever those horns aren't playing at 200% volume and drowning out what the girls are saying. I'm really not even sure why that shit was added to begin with, because without it, the song doesn't even seem like it would be that boring. Like, it's still very fun, catchy, and memorable without it. Like, while the Patti LaBelle Gotta Be Real End of Time claps,
some may say I'm shady, but you done let yourself
like you a little, don't want no riddle, not it just
a ditto, gave life to the track. The horns take away from the greatness of ETA. Instead of throwing the horrible horns over it, they could have definitely made the instrumental more explosive, because that's what it seems like it will do, but it does. Honestly though, because of how bothersome it is, I feel like the song will get old very quickly. Also, it doesn't fit the mood. The horns are like very harsh and brash, while their voices are soft and sweet. It just feels misplaced on this track. Maybe if they were shouting all over it like a boy group, like Itzy did on Cheshire, like Stacey do all the time, and like I did on that recent title track of theirs, like it could probably work. But because they have a more light and airy and cutesy approach, it's just not really meshing together well. However, outside of that, like, listen, I like this song. I do enjoy the song. The bounciness of the track, like I said, is so fun, and their melodies are addictive. Like, what's your ETA? But horns really do just ruin everything for me. So if any of you find a MP3 file where they remove the horns, like, let me know. Like, send me the link immediately. This was probably my favorite track from the mini album. I have my similar complaints about the tracks intentionally being so short and repetitive, so you could loop, but on this one, I don't mind it at all. Like, the skittering production of the liquid drum and bass mixed with those very sweet and pretty synths is really just a recipe for success in my book. The pulsing Jersey beat throughout the second part of the song, like the change up in production at the end, bro, on that last chorus, like their light and airy vocals again, come on. Like, the final product is just so sweet and catchy. It's very simple, fun music for the girls. You all wouldn't get it. Compared to the other releases from this era, I found this song much more underwhelming and flat in comparison. The production is fun, being that it's like a very typical two-step beat, and I can't help but to always dance along to that. Like, however, the top line is just very uninteresting. There are other songs in the two-step and garage genres with like a better payoff and present those sounds in a more interesting way. I like the atmospheric feel, but other than that, there's nothing special going on here. Like, I can't tell you how anything sounds. once. I'm also for once not a fan of their vocals here, especially on the chorus. Like, I think the ad-libs try to help, but in the end it just becomes a very tedious listen because again, nobody is tuning into NewJeans for their vocals, but it definitely would have been the saving grace on this track, and instead it just makes the track unlistenable to me. They just sound so off here. I don't know, I didn't like it. It was interesting though that the visual for this song included two popular Korean actors while taking the artsy controversial route, but like I just feel like had the video been something different without those actors attached to it, it would have gotten the hurt treatment because there's truly nothing going on here. My quick 2 cents on the matter is that while nudity and the story behind Aphrodite, Eros, Psyche, and them isn't inherently sexual, there are certainly factors and undertones present in the NewJeans music video. As other people have noted, the voyeuristic angle is odd, but makes sense given the woman behind them. Now, with that, I know people are gonna say, she didn't direct the video, she did. If you go in the description of the music video, it will say producer Min Hee-jin. What do you think that means? Okay, but even if we're not even looking there, who is the CEO of Adore? Who is the creative director behind these girls? Do you bitches think that like everyone is just working without supervision from Min Hee-jin? Like, do you think the producers are doing it alone with NewJeans, and then the choreographers are doing it alone with NewJeans, and then the stylists are doing it alone with NewJeans, and their directors are doing it alone with NewJeans with no input from Min Hee-jin? That doesn't make any sense. They all need her approval. It's not gonna make it all the way to YouTube on high labels without Adore Min Hee-jin's approval. Okay, anyway, Min Hee-jin's work, concepts, and sources of inspiration often involve minors in very sexual situations. The group consists of 2 minors at this point in time, but who knows when they began filming the music video? Danielle could have very well been 17 years old at the time. Still, it's very weird and inappropriate, to be completely honest with you. All of this could literally be avoided if Min Hee-jin was normal and one, either debuted a group of grown women, but that wouldn't work with her concepts of youth and innocence, and the fact that another aspect of appeal of NewJeans is the fact that they are very young and appeal to men who like barely legal girls. Anyway, or 2, just made a career in film that didn't involve minors and again barely legal adults. Personally, to the fans, if you need to write a long and detailed dissertation to justify a concept like this or explain the context, then you already lost in my opinion. Not sure what to tell you. Like, it was completely unnecessary in a NewJeans music video featuring minors. This isn't a Gen Z pure teens type thing. Don't piss me off. Our brains are not rotted by porn or whatever y'all have been saying, but yours clearly has been by K-pop, mind you, over a bunch of 15-year-olds. But anyway, you'll never get anywhere arguing with 13-year-old fans of NewJeans, but all this does is confirm my beliefs about her marketing tactics and also her use of ambiguity, like how she plays on that. But whatever. Anyway, yeah, overall this comeback was very underwhelming to me. It's not bad though, it's just very forgettable. A lot of the tracks don't really have punch. I was minding my business, scrolling through the morning paper, aka Nugu Promoter, and I seen that DSP Media was gearing up to debut a new girl group. The girl group in question, named Young Posse, performed for the first time at RBW's family concert, which is interesting because let's think of who's under that company. But since they do serve as like a subsidiary of RBW, it makes sense. So like it's Purple Kiss and then all of DSP Media essentially. Anyway, now when you think of DSP Media, forget that I told you what the name of the new group is. Forget that. When you think of DPS Media, what groups come to your mind? Me, I'm thinking of Stinkle, you know, and Lee Hyori. I'm thinking of Kara, Rainbow, in April, and all of these groups kind of have a very similar sound. But hey, recently we've got groups like Card and Mire, and so we can kind of see the shift in the music that the company has been putting out. So it only makes sense that Young Posse would come out with that type of music. Now here's my thing, when I was watching the clips, I was getting very much XG Shooting Star vibes. And that just lets me know right there, we desperately need to close the portal that XG opened, because it's only going to get worse from here. Like, if XG is your mother, and they're already very shit as a group, if XG is your mother, it can only get worse from there. Like, it's not looking up for that. And you know what? I blame all of you bitches, to be honest. Yesterday on the 20th, I saw the Barbie movie, and it was really good. Gonna have to be one of my top films of all time. Now, I'm not a film girl, so I don't want to hear nothing about your artsy films. Okay, I want to have fun, and that's why To All the Boys I've Loved Before is still the greatest film of all time to me. When's the last time you were just all happy and smiles throughout the entire duration of a film? To All the Boys I Loved Before, literally. Like, anyway, first of all, I don't want to give any spoilers, but you're gonna hear it, so hey, skip. There's this part in the movie, and it's just so long. A conversation between Barbie and this character that she meets, Ruth, the woman who created Barbie, essentially. And she's like, you know, I want to be human. Like, I don't know where my story's gonna lead me, da 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 da, whatever. And that part of the film is just so long, and it's a tedious watch for me. However, something more tedious than that part of the movie is the entire album, soundtrack, whatever. You have this star-studded album featuring Lizzo, Dua Lipa, even Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice, even Charlie XCX, Billie Eilish. We got 50/50 on here, Callie, Ava Max, Pink Panthers, Khalid, Hunt. Like, we've got all of those names, you know, loved and adored by millions of people around the world. Not me, certainly not Dominic Fike, certainly not loved by me, but Tame Impala is on here. And it's just like the number of songs that are like actually good, it's a very lacking soundtrack. And I was going to rank all of the songs, but it's not even worth it. So let me give you the songs that I actually like. Okay, so the songs that I actually like are Journey to the Real World by Tame Impala, What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish, Half of Angel by Pink Panthers, and that's it. Everything else is literally so shit. Like, and I'm so sorry to say it, Lizzo, I didn't really like that song either. It was cute in the movie, but it's not something I would listen to on my own time. It's not Barbie to me. That's and you know something? Charlie XCX talks a lot, but your music sucks. Like, it's so bad. So bad. And also, I forgot to mention this, but Barbie Dreams by 50/50 samples Janet Jackson's Together Again. And when I tell you that the song is so bad that it's literally disrespectful to that legacy, to Janet Jackson's legacy and the legacy of the song, like, I almost made a thread of why it's problematic. Let me tell you a funny story though. Okay, so Together Again is basically about the loss of a friend, right? A very close friend. My mom is a Janet Jackson fan, right? Like, she went to the Rhythm Nation tour. That's her sister, right? Why she gonna ask me if Together Again was written about Michael Jackson? Now, question for the culture: when did Velvet Rope come out? 1998. When did Michael Jackson die? 2009. So it was really it tickled me. It tickled me pink, to be honest with you. That was a really funny. Anyway, so the song, like I said, is about the death of a close friend, but specifically he died of HIV and AIDS or whatever. And it's just like, that song and all of its remixes are just so perfect, like untouchable, really. And then here go 50/50 disrespectful asses with Callie, and they take all the life and beauty out of the song. It literally went from a classic house track to a white gay anthem, and I take issue with that. It sounded like a Charlie XCX song and not a good one. And the thing is, Charlie XCX barely has good songs at that. So it's just like why did Janet have to be in it? Like, thank you, because she has writing credits on it, so she's gonna get a little coin, and I know she's in need of that. But like, it really pisses me off every time I think about it. Another thing, the men featured on this album contribute absolutely nothing. Like, outside of Tame Impala, the rest of you really pissed me off. Like, why is the Kid Leroy on? Let's just say that the state of male music is in a terrible place. So in my opinion, like, the only male song on here should have been the Ken song, because he's just Ken. Like, that's it, just Ken, and that's the only thing that they get. But we had not one, not two, not three, but like 5 songs by men, and it was not good. And you know, it's very fitting because the women weren't doing a good job either. I'm just a little bit underwhelmed. Like, you know who should have been on here? Luna. Like, they definitely would have killed it.